All right.
Okay.
Says we're live.
So thoughts on organizational culture?
Okay.
Just where I work with the data, everyone is very earthy.
I can't hear Taylor.
Yeah, I can't hear you very well either.
How about now?
Yeah. There you go.
Better? Okay.
Yeah.
So I work for Aveda, so everyone's very like earthy. I can use the term tree hugger because I technically am one. I mean, that's a culture that I've experienced. I've worked for Aveda for like 5 or 6 years, so that's really the only experience that I have. But I mean, you can just tell when you walk in the building what kind of culture you're in. Smiling at each other, says hello, even if you don't know them. Just very kind all around.
I think it is true. Like, you can kind of feel how the culture is going to be. Like, I mean, I've gone from one culture from Starbucks, which is like energetic and kind of louder, more like not hangout-ish, but laid back more culture. And then I go to the bank that I work at, and we're very professional culture and not I wouldn't say like overly serious in a bad way, but more serious. It's more important, so we have to take our jobs more seriously. And
right, it goes in the culture where you're taking it more seriously.
Yeah, it feels more grown up, I guess, and more like of established culture, I would say, because being at Starbucks, you can get all sorts of different cultures. There'd be some where people would mess around and care that much, and there are some that
are worried about their coffee instead of their bank account with all their money, so they're more serious.
Yeah, it's more serious, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Kathleen's having some.
Oh, hello.
With her message. I can say that. I think I've shared before that I work for Boeing, and so we're an engineering and manufacturing company. And even though I work in health and insurance operations and not out on the factory floor, our organizational culture is really oriented around our engineers and mechanics. So it's really, I would say, precision and critical thinking and customer care are considered really huge focus there. And our engineers are really extremely detail oriented, so that infuses, or that kind of what's the word I'm looking for, so that permeates the whole company, that there's just this really serious attention to detail about everything and documenting everything. So it's really hard to make decisions because people are hesitant to make a decision without thoroughly considering every possible permutation of anything that could possibly go wrong and all of that. But so we joke about turning the Titanic, where it's a huge company, but we're able to make little wins here and there that kind of gradually get things headed the direction we want them to. But so it's kind of a serious professional culture. But I was thinking about the positive concern that, I mean, on a good note, when I first went there when I took my job with Boeing, it was the third time I had interviewed there and had been offered the job the 2 previous times. But those 2 previous times, I was also interviewing with REI. I don't know if you guys are familiar with REI. Yeah. And with their headquarters here in Washington. And then the other time was with T-Mobile. And Boeing, I go to the interview, and it's really taupe walls, just like really beige, closed, not a lot of windows, very old school, kind of just plain. Think like your math class from like elementary, middle school, something like that. It's really plain and dull. And then I go to REI that has these big, bright, open windows. They're all outdoors, and
very
mobile, where everything's like hot pink in their corporate offices, and really like, here's a free soda, here's free coffee, and those things really.
How cool.
That was really cool. And then Boeing was like, but now that I'm there, I see a lot of the values that that really resonate with me. Kind of, they do invest a lot of money in benefits and education, to like tuition reimbursement and that kind of thing. So
yeah, that's cool. It's encouraging when it has like that type of culture setting, and it helps you get encouraged. That's kind of how we are, even though we're having to be more serious because we're a bank. The company is actually like so great when it comes to their culture. They really want to be encouraging, and they always have us do like little contests, like who can meet their sales goals, like whoever wins gets a Starbucks card. Like they try to make it really playful at the same time, like competitive but playful at the same time. They always set a culture of caring about our members, which is really great for me because this is my first bank experience. And I never realized that bigger banks set a culture about sales, and credit unions are about members and making sure that they're satisfied and that they're not being pushed onto something that's not needed for them. So our bank is really culturalized about our members and their needs, and not more around our sales from it. So it's really great because, you know, our culture is making sure that they're happy, and it doesn't put as much pressure on us as bankers as well.
Kind of like what we're seeing about Wells Fargo and what's
going on with them. It's been a really big topic.
About that.
It's crazy. Ever since working at the credit union, like, all I can say is, like, I'm so glad I don't work at a big bank, because their culture is just, it's terrible for bankers, because they are just so pushed onto sales instead of caring about their actual members and their customers. And so that's why I really like working at a credit union.
Yeah. Talking about being like more of like a serious, and I mean, like talking about Starbucks, I mean, I did work in a Nevada salon, which, I mean, you get the music blaring, you get people in and out, you get the people, so it's very different. Still the same company, and you're still working with the same mission, but it's a very different.
Yeah.
Not as laid back or serious. It's faster paced, louder, almost more fun, it seems like.
Yeah. It's crazy going from one culture to another and having to, you know, evolve with the new culture too, because it's exciting, but it's crazy at first.
It took me forever to be okay with music not playing like out loud.
Yeah.
In the office, it's so quiet. I'm like, why is it so quiet? There's no music.
Why is it so quiet?
Right.
Everybody in our office is on headphones or has little earphones in all the time, just on the computer 24/7.
Oh.
Yeah, going from sitting or standing all day to sitting all day too was very hard.
Me too. I'd be like running around like crazy at Starbucks, and here I sit or I stand at my desk. Like I could choose to stand, but I don't run around everywhere, which is really hard to get used to.
Right. Yeah, you're back and forth, and now it's like can I go to the bathroom 3 times in an hour?
Was Kathleen able to join the audio? Are you guys able to hear her? I see her picture up on the screen, but
I can't hear her.
No, I'm not able to hear her either.
Darn.
Do you guys believe that leaders are able to shape a culture?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think they can put a lot of like detail into what a culture should be like, and also set the culture. Go ask Grandma. Sorry. Like, I think when they're encouraging the positive culture, their followers do it too. So when they're being great leaders and being fun but serious at the same time and portraying what the company wants them to be, that they kind of set that culture and their followers follow them. Because I've definitely experienced that working at Starbucks and where I work now. Like, I think my manager does a great job keeping our company, our branch, really professional but fun at the same time because of how she is as a leader.
And I think too, when we talk about like characteristics that are good leaders, like being positive, having that encouraging, trait, I mean, that shapes the culture. If you have a negative leader, you're probably not having a lot of fun at work or being very, where did she go?
Uh-oh.
Oh. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, there she is. Oh. Kathleen on too.
Sorry, I got lost.
Oh.
So,
Kathleen sent a message. She says that she is on, but she needs to call in. Is there some? Can you send her the invite again?
Let me see.
Amanda, I don't know if that's. Maybe she needs to accept it separately.
Okay.
Or a new one.
Let me take a look. Oh man, I don't have her. Isn't it popping up? Usually her name just pops up because she's in my little circle. Dang it. Oh, there it goes.
I don't know if there's a way to call in.
Re-invited it to her. Okay, that sent it out. So we'll see if that'll work. What time are we at?
Like 9.5, I think.
Okay, yay.
10 minutes, sorry. A couple more.
I think you're so right about the positive leader. Like it
Right.
definitely helps a lot.
You have that attitude, negative, that makes it not a very fun again.
Yeah, and then it just sets it for other people to think that's what the culture is there, and why would somebody want to work in that kind of culture?
And it's almost like
Can you guys hear me?
We can. Welcome back.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Okay. I've been trying and trying and trying and trying.
Like, go and try.
Oh,
Glad you were able to.
yes, me too. So my thoughts on organizational culture is that a leader can definitely shape the culture. They can shape the culture by many different things. At Starbucks, our culture is kind of embedded by the time, from the time we walk in the door. We're hired in as partners, so that we are invested in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And just like in the case study where they talked about Howard closing every store, train and reinvest everybody in the vision, is huge, I think.
Yeah.
And I also think that Starbucks' culture is positive and engaging. Just because it all started out with the story of Howard Schultz and how he started with nothing, and then what Starbucks has become today.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's, a great thing. And I think part of the Starbucks culture is also being a coffee authority.
Yeah.
And they try to get the emotional attachment, I think, and get you invested, and they want you to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And so they promote from within, and they hire kind of like-minded people. It seems like everybody that works for Starbucks they kind of think the same, at least the long-term employees do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have to agree with that, and also state that I agree that the leader has to enforce the culture, because I worked at 4 different stores, and the culture of Starbucks is amazing, but it's on the manager to make sure that their employees keep that leadership and culture. Because one of the stores I worked at, she was a terrible leader, terrible, and she just let people get away with all sorts of things, and she did not keep that culture within that Starbucks stores. People were being rude to customers, yelling at them. They were pushing people away. They were doing terrible, terrible things. Like, I can't even say half the stuff that still goes on, because people still talk to me from that store. And it's because that leader did not do her job of keeping the culture. And I've also had a different store where my manager was just absolutely incredible, was so encouraging, and made me love to be a partner when I worked there. Like, he was just so encouraging and kept such a good culture, and was like, we're all about the, our customers and our partners. And like, he was the reason why, Starbucks has such an amazing culture. It's because he's one of the many leaders who keep that going.
Mm-hmm.
I think you really hit on something. I think Kathleen had mentioned something about vision, and the leader, right, Howard Schultz, at Starbucks having vision that's shared. And I think that that's probably one of the things that I view as really effective with the leader that I have currently where I work, and that she doesn't just talk the talk. Like, I've had managers that read off slides or read off decks and say, oh, this is the company mission or whatever, the vision, but she really does a good job of connecting these high-level vision statements and mission statements to the work that we actually do, because we're kind of separated from the actual production of airplanes and defense systems and satellites and things like that. Where I work, we're working in health and insurance operations, but she's still able to connect what we do to the customer care aspect of things.
10 seconds.
Quality,
15 minutes.
All right, guys, I'm going to stop the broadcast real fast. I think I can stop without hanging up on all of us, though.
Okay.